Morning, y'all. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate you taking time out of y'all's busy schedule to stop in and see what it is I'm up to. Day 2 at the cheapest mobile home in Jacksonville. I slept like a log last night. I'll tell you what, even sleeping in the wrong linear position or whatever, I was just wore out. So I was up yesterday at 7:30, something like that, and then finishing moving up and unpacking stuff and this, that, and the other. And I made me a hot toddy last night. Took a hot shower, hit the bed about 9, and I was out. Slept until almost 7:30. It was like 7:25 when I woke up, and tossed and turned a little bit. I said, nope, not going to make it to the alarm, which goes off at 8:15. So I ended up getting up. It's been a couple hours, though. It's 10 o'clock, 10:15, something like that. Stood under the hot shower. My back is screaming at me. But, oh well. This place is pure chaos. It's going to take me... It's probably, the way I'm looking at it, it's going to take me a month to get things organized. Probably not, but just trying to figure out where to put stuff. Every house is different. This house has it appears to have a lot of storage when you first look at it, but then when you go to put stuff away, it doesn't have storage that works with you. So, anyway, well, it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me right now. It's going to take some finagling, and it's just like any other thing. So it's not a major big deal. But the room on the other side of this wall that I was setting up to be my chamber of chaos is definitely a chamber of chaos right now. There's a lot more room in there than either of the two rooms that I had before. Either the 3 rooms. There's more room in there than there was in the room I was at in the brick house that I originally moved from. 6 months ago. But right now, things are just taken in and sat haphazardly down because I got people bringing stuff in. It's like, take it in there and put it down. Well, they take it in and they set it down in the middle of the room. And then the next person would come in and set it down in front of that. And I've got, 6 or 7 feet from that first bin to the wall. So they would leave to go get another load, and I'd be back in there moving stuff around, being like, but even now, it's still not. I'm going to be a while going through boxes to figure out what's in the boxes and where the stuff goes. And, it is what it is. Just gives me something to do, right? It's not like I'm doing anything else. Maybe I'll do some what's in the box videos. But, so. I was thinking, somebody said something the other day. When was it? Saturday. When we were doing the moving, and I was driving the truck or whatever, and excuse me, a couple of ladies were looking at this cabinet somebody had dumped off at the dumpster. It was rather nice. I looked at it. I thought about it. I thought about it real hard, and almost grabbed it, but I couldn't figure out where I would put it, and I still don't know where I would have put it. But anyway, they wanted to take it back to the house, so I helped them put it on the back of the truck. We took it to their house, got it off, and I had one of the guys go get the dolly, and they took it and wheeled it back to where the ladies were going to work on it. But part of that story goes, it was a girl, a young woman, and her mom, and the mom kept calling the place a camp. And then she would, kind of correct herself and say, I'm just used to going, to the trailers at the camp. And that brings back something that I keep thinking about. When I was little, I grew up in Whately Beach, New Jersey, which is south of Seaside Heights and south of Seaside Park. If you ever watched the TV show Seaside Heights, I think it is, or whatever, something to that effect, where you know about it or whatever. No, wait a minute. I was at South Seaside Park, which is south of Seaside Heights. Whately Beach, I grew up, is actually north of Seaside Heights. So, I'm not fully awake. I know I've been awake for 3 hours. I'm not fully awake. My mind is still. But anyway, the next street over from where we lived on 14th Street in South Seaside Park, South Seaside Park. I believe that started Island Heights, but it was called the Camps. Whistle when I speak. And it was a bunch of small summer homes, basically cabins, very 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 sparse, just simple places that people would come down and rent for the week or the month, and spend by the ocean or the bay or whatever. But we grew up with the camp right there, and after she said that, I kind of look around at this place, and it's like, it is kind of like a camp. And then it brought to mind not only the place there in south of Seaside Park, but we used to go to the camp. There was a couple of them that the family used to get together at, but Lake Apscammy was one of the major ones. And no, don't ask me to spell that. It was in South Jersey, kind of middle of South Jersey, or in, I think, around the Wharton State Park area, Batstow area, somewhere around there. But my mom's aunts would get together and have 3 or 4, sometimes more campsites, all at this one campground. And we would all, we would go down there on the weekends, and sometimes we would spend the night. Sometimes it was just a day trip. It was only, maybe an hour ride or something like that. We had the lake and the streams and the creeks or whatever, and just camp. But my mom and dad eventually they got a trailer. I'd already moved out. I was in the Air Force when they got their first trailer and moved down there. Then going along with that, here recently, my nephew just bought the shack. There's a story to the shack. It's on an Indian reservation in Delaware. My parents bought it. I'm not even sure how long ago. My nephew and niece were little, like 3 or 4, and they're in their early 30s now. They may have actually even been younger. It may have been shortly after I moved down here, which would have been almost 30 years ago. They bought this little shack on this Indian reservation and slowly improved it, made additions to it, and it was done, just on a strict budget and using reclaimed objects and found stuff, and they lived there for quite a while until they decided to move down here. And shortly after moving down here, my dad had a stroke, and then they just weren't comfortable down here, so they moved back to New Jersey. And they've got an apartment up there. But they had sold the shack, and it was kind of like kind of like you do here at this mobile home park. You can buy the house, the property you rent. So anyway, they sold the shack to this woman, and then it seems like she just kind of let it get into disrepair and never went. Excuse me. And then sometime last year, my nephew went down and saw that it was in, the roof was caving in, and it really depressed him. And he's in a situation where he wanted to rectify it. So he contacted the chief, and the chief got in touch with the lady that owned the property, that owned the shack, and they made a deal. And it was just recently here. I don't know why I'm looking at the computer. Ain't going to help me. About a month ago or so, that my nephew was finally able to get the paperwork and declare that the shack is back in family hands. It needs a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. A big old hole in the roof. There was pine needles and bark and everything else littering through the kitchen because the roof had caved in. So my one younger brother and my nephew and my dad went down a while back, before the property was even, before they had it in their name, because they knew they were going to get it. It was just a matter of, the legal work or whatever. But they went down and put a temporary roof up. And I think in a couple of months here, when the weather changes, we're supposed to be going up there and doing weekend shifts and getting the place back into order for the family to use. Excuse me. So, boy, that's kind of a twisted route, isn't it? Going from me moving into here up to my nephew's new ownership of the shack up in Delaware. Oh, excuse me. It's just outside of Rehoboth. I'm not sure of the name of the reservation, but my dad's grandfather was half Lenape Indian. Lenape is the native tribe from New Jersey, Delaware, Pennsylvania, New York area. I think I'm the last generation that can actually claim Native American blood. My kids are diluted a little too much. So that doesn't really have a whole lot of bearing on the reservation. Anybody can buy property or can rent the property there and have have their building on it. You just have to get it approved by the chief and the council. But yeah, I know, blue eyes and all that hair. How can I be Native American, right? I don't know. Sure, it's the way it is. But anyway, what are we getting to? About 15 minutes. Got 14 minutes. And you monsters looking at me like I'm crazy. I really need to get to work and do I'll just turn you around. Take a look at this. Excuse me. I have a hospital bed that we got when the old miss was sick, and I brought it here. I used it at the first place for a couple of weeks until I got a regular bed, and then I had it set up in the living room as a day bed for the kids. Well, I had taken and put, I don't know, a dozen blankets underneath of the mattress. Yeah, I forgot about them. Well, yesterday they took the bed apart. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I mean, look at my shelves over there. They're flat full Gives me something to do. More than something to do. Let me know what you think, folks. Give me a thumbs down or a thumbs up. Leave me a comment wherever it is y'all leave comments on your internet access device of choice. If you'd like to share me around your social media, that'd be fandoculous. If you want to check me out on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I'll have links in the description box, wherever that happens to be on your device of choice. I'll also put links to similar videos, and you'll find my email and my snail mail and yada, yada, yada. So, if your loved ones are nearby, give them a kiss and a hug. If they're not, give them a call. Hit them up on Facebook. Let them know you think about them. Oh, he's noisy. Let them know you love them. We ain't promised tomorrow, people. We ain't promised our next breath. So I see y'all again. I hope you have a fandoculous day. Sláinte, y'all. Bye-bye.